Hello, everybody. This is Himanshu, and you're watching Weekly Cricket Dose. Today, we are going to talk about yesterday's match between Punjab and Rajasthan. We'll be doing a full depth analysis of the match where I think Punjab went wrong and Rajasthan went wrong as well. Let's start with the very beginning. The toss. Punjab won the toss. Sorry, Rajasthan won the toss and decided to chase ball first. Obviously, given it's Wankhede Stadium, it's conducive to dew and it's very easier to bat under the light as compared to in the first inning. So Rajasthan opted to ball first. The debutant Chetan Sanaka, I'm forgetting his name. Just a second, I'll clarify his name. Mm, Chetan Sakaria, the debutant. He bowled really good. He went for 30 or something run in his 4 over and gave away only 30 runs and took 3 wickets. He was particularly very good in the first 2 overs and the last over. It was a very good over, or else the Punjab's total would have been somewhere around 230, I believe. But he gave away 5 or 6 runs, something like that, which is exceptional in the depth given that the quality of the batsmen who were batting. Anyways, Punjab started their innings quite okay. Mayank Agarwal and KL Rahul provided a good platform. They put up together a partnership of 20, 25 odd something, and they were going on in above okay average of 7 or something in the power play. Then Chris Gale joining. As we all know, Chris Gale now these days takes a few deliveries to try and settle in and then blast off. He did the same thing today as well. He settled in and then scored a quick fire 40 runs off 28 balls. Although not that quick, but still he caught up to the balls and runs deficit very quickly when he was set in and got used to the pace of the wicket. KL Rahul was last year he was criticized by few that his strike rate, although he's playing a good innings, long innings, but his strike rate is relatively on the lower side, approx 130, 140, mid 140, 150 max. This year he started very with a very good intent, and his strike rate all in this match was around 170, 180. That's exceptionally good. And given that he played a long inning, meant he scored eventually more than 90, 91. I was actually hoping that he might get a century. Will be the first century of this season. It couldn't be, and however, Sanju Samson did that in the next inning, very next inning. Coming on to the batting again, the Punjab batting were aided by some very mediocre fielding from Rajasthan Royals side. First of all, you do not expect Ben Stokes to drop a catch. It was fairly simple as far as Ben Stokes standard goes. He caught up to the ball. He even got hand to the ball, but sadly couldn't hold all to the catch. The next one, I believe, there was a collision also between miscommunication between Butler and Stokes, and the ball landed right between, and that and I'm forgetting there was one more drop. As far as I remember, wait, let me check. There was a drop. I am forgetting who was dropped again. Yeah, Rahul Tripathi dropped Gale, and just after the very next ball, Gale dispatched him for six. Although the catch which he dropped was very hard, Gale struck it very hard, and it came at him at a very good pace, and he couldn't judge it. Had he taken that catch, it would have been a very fantabulous catch, but sadly he couldn't hold on to it. And there's three mistakes and one or two misfields as well. They given up extra runs where only one should have been given. They gave up 2 runs. So all in all, I feel that their fielding was little bit rusty, and the ballers apart from Chetan. Well, if a team scores 221 runs, you expect the ballers to go for plenty, and apart from Chetan, other ballers were very mediocre. The Chris Morris, the most expensive player in IPL history, auction history, he went for plenty as well. Although he redeemed himself, got 1 or 2 wickets. Let me check again. Chris Morris. Yeah, Chris Morris got 2 wicket, but he was expensive, very expensive, 40 odd run. Same goes with Mustafizur Rahman. They are the foreign player, experienced player. The team expects more from them, but surprisingly, debutant did much better than these two. And the strange thing was the Sanju Samson's captaincy. He used as many as 8 bowlers, and one he was introduced into attack when Chris Gale, Ryan Prag, I'm talking about, he was introduced in the attack when Chris Gale was going. Everybody thought that this is gonna be a blunder, but to everybody's surprise, he got Chris Gale's wicket. Prag did got Chris Gale's wicket. Ben Stokes redeeming himself and caught a fairly good catch in the deep long on, and that's how the Chris Gale's inning came to an end. Then came in Deepak Hooda. Deepak Hooda has been around the IPL since 2014. I vividly remember him playing a very good inning for Rajasthan Royals. He was first pick for Rajasthan Royals, and he was thrashing Malinga to every part of the park, which at that point of time was very hard to do. Malinga was in his prime in 2014-15 eras, and that's how he came into the limelight. That here is a young kid, 22, 23 years old, and he's smashing Malinga to all part. And he was also a part of under 19 World Cup, India under 19 World Cup. And sadly, somehow, I don't know why and where it lacked, but his IPL career and as well as his international career couldn't take off. He was named in Indian side, but he couldn't get a match. He was named in Nidahas Trophy, the famous cup which we won courtesy Dinesh Karthik's heroics in the final 2 overs. In that series, also he was in the team but couldn't get a match. Few other series is he has been a part of Indian cricket team but couldn't get a single match. Now, Deepak Hooda in this match played exceptionally good. He scored 15, 20 odd balls. He was literally blasting every bowlers out of the park. Morris and Mustafizur Rahman's bad looking scorecard is courtesy mainly due to Deepak Hooda. He was really batting very well, and it was a surprise that he got caught in such a way, timid way. He got out trying to push one straight back to the bowler, back over the bowler, but couldn't time it properly. Hit high on the bat and was caught on the mid-on area. Then after Deepak Hooda failed, KL Rahul took over and he started accelerating the things. Uh, we also expected a lot of things from Nicholas Puran. Sadly, he could last only for one ball and was caught off a brilliant catch by Chetan Sankaria, which was, I don't know why, which was reviewed for quite a long time. The third umpire spent, I think, approx 2 to 3 minutes checking on various angles, even though it looked like clear catch. But he kept on checking and eventually gave him out, Nicholas Puran out, and thus the innings came to an end. Sadly, KL Rahul couldn't reach to his century. He got out before he could do that, and those three fours were the major contributor. KL Rahul being the top scorer 91, Chris Gale 40, and Deepak Hooda amazing innings of 64. One would have thought that should have been enough. Well, eventually it was enough, but it was due to Rajasthan Royals' own blunders. So the innings started very, very bad for Rajasthan Royals. Stokes got out in the very first over, and the one down, who I'm forgetting who came one down. Yeah, Sanju Samson came in one down. He played an absolute gem of an innings. We'll talk about that later. Stokes and Manan Vora were slated to open. They opened. Stokes got off in the very first ball, third delivery of the Mohammad Sami's over, top edging a ball, and there was almost a collision, and the ball almost popped out of Mohammad Shami's hand, but he barely held on to the catch, and Manan Vora also fell down quickly. Then came in Josh Butler. Josh Butler and Sanju Samson forged a partnership. They were going great. Then from the Punjab side, Jai Richardson, the quick Australian pacer, bowled a beautiful slower ball around 90-95 kilometers from hour. He dropped his speed by approximately 40 k's per hour, and that proved to be a very big difference. And Butler missed the strokes completely and was clean bowled. And one would have thought that this is it now, the innings is gonna fold. But Sanju Samson was still there. There was a little glimmer of hope. The run rate was already around 13 runs per over, and it was almost curtains for Rajasthan Royals. Then came in Riyan Parag. He didn't score that much, but the pace at which he scored amply supported Sanju Samson and gave momentum to the innings. He scored 25 runs off just 11 balls, hitting 3 sixes, I think. Uh, yeah, 3 sixes and 1 4, strike rate of over 200. He gave the push that was required in the inning and gave again a little glimmer of hope. Shivam Dube also hung around for a few deliveries. He faced 15 odd deliveries, something like that, and scored 23 runs, vital runs, given the scenario. When Riyan Parag got out in the 17th over courtesy Mohammad Sami, who brought Punjab back into the game, because at that point it looked like they're gonna get home very easily. Rajasthan Royals, the way Riyan Parag and Sanju Samson were hitting every baller out of the park, it looked very bad for Punjab. It gave them, I think, most of us remember the previous encounter they had in Sharjah, where Rahul Tewatia scored famously 30 runs off Sheldon Cottrell and eventually won the match. But this wasn't the case to be. Mohammad Sami provided the breakthrough, got Riyan Parag. Rahul Tewatia again couldn't do much, and Riley McDermott got him out. He was having a horror day in the field, and he's given up around 40-45 runs. Even Jai Richardson gave up 50 plus runs. Both the Aussies had a horrible day, but they delivered when it mattered. That's the main thing. 17th over, Mohammad Sami got rid of Riyan Parag. Then Riley McDermott got rid of Rahul Tewatia, and eventually it was all down to Arshdeep to defend 13 runs of the final over. So the final over was a very interesting one. The first one was a dot ball. Sanju Samson, it was ball round the wicket wide on the tram line of the wide, and Samson thought it was a wide, but it wasn't given. The next two balls were single, and again a single. On the fourth ball, he's hit a six. In the last two balls, 5 runs were required. So with 5 runs required, again the plan was simple from the Punjab side. They were bowling around the wicket and wide outside off stumps, and that's in credit to Rahul that he gave support to the bowler and provided a deep extra cover for the because the ball which they were trying to bowl, there should be a deep extra cover, and he realized after Sanju Samson scored a six and placed immediately a field over there. That proved to be a major difference, because the second last ball Sanju Samson hit straight to the fielder. Everybody thought that they might hustle for second run, but to everybody's surprise, Sanju Samson didn't even run. He had confidence on his ability that he will finish it for the team. Chris Morris even was surprised, little bit angry, I might even say. And so it all came down to the last ball where 5 runs were required, and sadly Sanju Samson couldn't clear the row. I feel that ball was in the slot for him to launch it into the orbit, but somehow in his post-match interview as well, he said that he thought it went for six because he timed it very well, and he almost thought that it went for six, but in his own words that he don't know how it couldn't clear the ropes. So it was, in my opinion, that was not a great delivery. Sanju Samson had been hitting all those kind of deliveries out of the park all night long. I think it was the pressure of the final ball and the scorecard, and also pressure of denying the single. Had he taken the single, might have been chance that Chris Morris could have hit a boundary. He might even have got an outside edge that might have run down to the boundary in the third man region, but he denied the single, and it was up to him to clear the boundary. And I think he crumbled under the pressure and he couldn't finish the last run. Anyway, it was an absolute gem of an innings and once in a lifetime. That was also the highest score by a debutant captain in IPL history. So Sanju Samson had something to cherish after his toil, and although he couldn't take his team over, but he had something to cherish, and it was a lovely. Sanju Samson was also given Man of the Match award for his performance, although Punjab helped a lot in Sanju Samson for getting him to his century. He was dropped twice. Punjab also dropped 3 catches. Both teams look very rusty in their fielding department. So I think as the tournament progresses, their fielding standards will pick up because they have a very good fielding team, especially the Royals. Punjabs have some older players, so they might be hampered by that. But I think the fielding standard will increase as the tournament goes along. That's it, guys. That's my overview, review, and in-depth analysis of the yesterday's match. So let's talk about today's match. It's gonna be very interesting match between Mumbai and KKR. Interesting, why? Because the match is in Chennai, and as we all know, that Chennai is very conducive to spin. So it will be interesting to see how Mumbai cope up with that, because Mumbai clearly is a side which doesn't like that spin a lot. And KKR is heavily spin reliant. They have Harbhajan Singh, although he was used only for 1 over, but he can be a lethal weapon in Chennai's pitch. So it's gonna be interesting match, and Mumbai has a huge head-to-head lead over KKR. They have won 21 matches out of 27 matches that these teams have played together. Although that being said, I think they on this new environment, alien for both the teams because they are not used to playing there regularly. I think it's gonna be a very interesting match. Again, I'm expecting not a big high scoring match like we had yesterday, but a close contest because both teams are good. And if I'm supposed to pick a team, I might go with MI, but I think KKR might just sneak in. So do tune in tomorrow to see what happens, and I'll give you all in-depth analysis of the match between KKR and Mumbai. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up and do subscribe as well. Until next time, this is Himanshu signing off.